Hello students, welcome to class 9 science session. Friends, we are studying chapter 8 motion that comes in the physics part. Now this video is part 4 video of the ongoing chapter. Till now we have studied various basic concepts of motion, how to describe motion, rate of motion. In that we have studied speed, velocity and related definitions. Also, we have solved few numericals. We have seen different types of motion, uniform motion, non-uniform motion, along with the examples. In the last session, we have seen what is the rate of change of velocity, that is called acceleration. It's all the different physical quantities that we studied, like speed, average velocity, acceleration. All those had different definitions, different word formula, symbolic formula and standard units. And the numericals, solved and practice were very important. In the last session, we gave or I gave different graphs. There might be a technical problem when I gave the word file of solution, but then in real graph I have given you the solution of all three graphs. Hope you have done very well. Little bit problematic is the submissions I am not getting of everyone. So all of you please be aware of all the sessions, watch the full video and prepare your notes well. Today, we will be seeing the graphical representation of motion in detail. So let us start our journey. Graphs provide a convenient method to provide or to present basic information about any kind of event. Take an example, there is a one-day cricket match. The vertical bar graph show the run rate of a team in each over, right? Even if you see about the international career or national career of the runs or the wickets taken by any bowler, runs per year or in one day test match, everything. If we want to study in easy manner, we draw graphs, right? In lower standard in mathematics, you have already dealt with different types of bar graphs, histograms, etc. As we have studied in mathematics as well in polynomials, that a straight line graph will help to solve linear equations in two variables. So graphs are very useful whether it is mathematics or science. So today in this session we will study two types of graphs. One will be the distance versus time graph, that may also be known as position versus time graph. Distance versus time, position versus time. Both are almost similar. And second is velocity versus time graph. Both the graphs we will have to study not in detail, but we will see only few important points related to both the graphs. Clear? Now, why we are studying the motion in form of graphs? The first question that comes to your mind, why we are studying this topic, right? So by studying the graph, we can understand the type of motion, whether the object is stationary, whether the object is moving at a uniform pace, whether it is in accelerated motion, whether it is in non-uniform motion. Every information can be just known by seeing the graph, by looking at the graph. Also in detail, if you want to know about the speed, if you want to know about the velocity, if you want to know about the acceleration of the object, just by looking at the graph, it can also be possible, right? So speed, velocity, acceleration can be calculated only if we have graphs in an easy manner. So let us see what things you will need to draw the graphs of motion. The most important is, first of all, you need a graph. It is common sense that you need a graph paper. Then mostly we draw graph using pencil, right? From lower standards you are trained to draw graph using pencil and scale. Now whenever you are drawing a graph, you must have some information. right? A small kind of table that in the last session I gave. In that, distance, position, speed, velocity along with time will be given, right? So as in graph we have two axes. X-axis you will select for time and y-axis for other variable, that is position, distance, speed or velocity. Most important part that many of you forgot, that you have to write the scale. For example, on any of the two axes, x-axis or y-axis, 1 centimeter equals to how many units you are taking, and that scale must be followed in every centimeter of your graph. So these things you take care. If not, you practice some basic graphs and histogram and bar graphs, and then you will understand. So starting with the first type, that is distance versus time graph. First of all, it enables us to know about the type of motion. The type of motion, remember, underline the word type when you will write the note. The type of motion can be known just by looking at the graph. For example, you see this first one. Here we have on y-axis distance and here we have time. Suppose if some object is at a specific position at 0 second, right? At 0 second it is at some position. After the time is going, you see from left to right on the x-axis, the time is going 1 second, 2 second, 3 second, 4 second, 5 second, right? But the position of the object is not changing, it is there as it is. So that means this type of graph will be there for the object, right? So the position is not changing but time is changing. So object is not at all moving. It is said to be stationary. So anywhere if you look this graph, a straight line graph which is parallel to x-axis, it will always show that object is stationary. Moving on to the second one, you see straight line exactly in between these two axes. So here you can see time is also changing and accordingly distance is also increasing, and this is showing uniform motion. Okay, the straight line graph which is exactly in between the two axes shows that the object is moving equal distance in equal interval of time. So that is uniform motion. Okay, now moving on to the third one. So here you can see the object has started its motion slowly, 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 but after some time, suddenly the distance or position changes suddenly, right? So that is why we can say that this type of motion is accelerated motion. Clear? So just by looking at these red lines, you can easily tell which type of motion it is showing. So that is why this is the first application of distance versus time graph. Okay, moving on to the next question, or the next point, or next use of distance versus time graph. So we have an advantage that just by looking at the distance versus time graph, you can easily answer a question of speed. So if someone asks that here is a graph and you find out the speed just by looking at the graph, you can easily able to find the speed of the object. You see, here on x-axis we have taken time in second, 1 centimeter 5 unit I have taken, so 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Here on y-axis distance in meter is shown 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So scale is of 1 centimeter 10 units. Here you can see in 5 seconds the object has traveled 10 meter. In 10 seconds 20 meter. In 15 seconds 30. Likewise they have shown up to 20 seconds. Clear? Now that means after 20 seconds how much the object has traveled? 40 meter. You see carefully in this graph. After 20 seconds, how much the object has traveled? 40 meters. So let us find the speed. Now I hope all of you remember the formula of speed. Speed equals to distance upon time. Distance equals to 0 meter to 40 meter, that is 40 meters, and time from 0 to 20 seconds, that means 20 seconds. So here distance is 40 meter, time is 20 seconds. So let us find the ratio of distance upon time. So speed equals to distance upon time, that is 40 meter upon 20 seconds. That means 20 to the 40. The answer is 2 meter per second. That means you have used only the graph and you found the speed of the object. So this is all about the usefulness of graph, right? Two uses we have studied for distance versus time graph. Now, same way, let us study velocity versus time graph. So now we have to represent time on one axis and velocity on the other axis. Remember, velocity on y-axis, time on x-axis. So again, as for the previous topic, velocity versus time graph will also enable us to know about different type of motion, right? So that is the same point. Let us see how we draw velocity versus time graph and what it says just by looking at the shape. So here we can see that on y-axis we have velocity, on x-axis you have time. As you see, from starting of the time, from the beginning of the time, velocity has a value. That means you have to imagine an object which is going at some velocity, right? So after some time, the velocity is same. For example, it started with 10 meter per second, okay? And after 5 seconds also, the velocity is 10 meter per second. Then after 30 seconds also, the velocity is 10 meter per second. That means the object is moving very peacefully with the same velocity. Okay, the velocity is not changing, neither increasing, neither decreasing. So that kind of graph will tell that the object is moving at the uniform velocity. A straight line graph, parallel to the time axis, uniform velocity. Okay. The second one you see, this time the time is increasing and the velocity is also increasing. Very carefully you think. Time is increasing, velocity is increasing. So when you are driving any vehicle, what do you do to increase the velocity? Guess what? You do the acceleration. So if you do the acceleration, then only your velocity can increase. So if here with proper time, with equal interval of time, the velocity is also increasing equally, then it is said to be uniformly accelerated. So this kind of velocity versus time graph will tell you that the type of motion is uniformly accelerated. And here it is that with the passage of time, initially in the starting, the velocity increased a little bit. Over here to here you can see, as time increases, velocity is increasing very slowly. But again, after some passage of time, the velocity is increasing suddenly. Okay, so there is a sudden increase. So in starting it was less, in ending it was more. So we can say that this graph is showing non-uniformly accelerated motion. Clear? Moving on, a very important use of velocity versus time graph. Very important. Fix this in mind that in these graphs only two informations were there. One about velocity in meter per second, one about time in second. So there was no inclusion of how much distance the object is traveling. If I tell you, if I show you these three graphs and ask you that find out the distance traveled, then you will question me that how we can find distance, because only velocity and time is given, so there is no distance, right? But there is a secret. If in case you want to find out the distance traveled, just find out the area of the graph. Okay, find out the area. Clear? Let us see how we can find out the area of the graph. In that case, we must know first of all the area of different shape. Then only you will understand. For example, if there is a square type of graph, then what you will do, you will find the side into side. If in the graph it is a triangle, then half base into height you must use. Okay, so that all depends on how easily you identify that the area is area of square, area of rectangle, area of triangle. Okay, so let us see this with an example. But you must be clear what you are finding. You are finding the distance traveled. You are finding the distance traveled, and given is only velocity and time. Okay, so there is a trick. Just find out the area. So let us see this with a very easy example. You see, this is a time versus velocity or speed graph. Okay, meter per second velocity or speed is given and time is given in second. So 1 second, 2 second, 3 second, 4 second, 5 second. So up to 5 second we have to see. Now in these 5 seconds the object has traveled 50 meter per second. So final velocity is 50 meter per second. Initially it was 0. Okay. Now this is a very simple velocity versus time graph or speed versus time graph. But you can see this shaded region is which kind of shape? Yes, the shape is of triangle. And we all know that the area of triangle is half into base into height. Okay, half into base into height. Now let us see what the base is. Look carefully in the figure. The base measurement is from 0 to 5. See, what is the base? It is 0 to 5. Clear? Now what is the height? So height you can see is over here, from here to here, right? From here to here. And you see a value is there exactly in the front, and that is 50. So height is 50. What we are finding? We are finding base, that is 5, and height, that is 50. So 1 half 5 into 50 will give you 125. So even though in this graph, listen very carefully, even though in this graph no information was there related to distance, only speed or velocity and time was given. But using this trick, finding the area of this triangle, we got half base into height, half 5 into 50 as 125. That means during this time interval, the object has traveled 125 meter, right? So it is very easy. Listen carefully and you will understand whole thing, right? So that's all for today. Thank you. Prepare your notes very well. If you want to use or if you want to write the points which I have written in the PPT, you can pause it and write accordingly. And for the figures that I have shown, just draw the figures in the notebook just using pencil and scale. No need of taking exact measurements. If only distance and time is there, write only d and t. If only velocity and time is there, write only velocity and time. But in the solved examples that just now we did for this kind of figures, you need to show, you draw it in the graph paper or in the notebook itself. It depends on your common sense how you are drawing in notebook or graph paper. Clear? So that's all for today. Thank you.